Okay, so we're here in town with the Victoria, Texas Independent Film Festival, and we are with the guys from Focus, Rob Tarzwell, executive producer, Josh Blacker, producer, writer, and also Christopher Young, who's also in the movie and director, and also writer. And guys, thanks for joining us today. And got to tell you, really funny movie, really great movie. You guys mentioned that you guys wrote it. What was the idea or the premise? Like, why'd you decide to do this movie?
Thanks. Go for it. Your answer.
Yeah, well, we were in the middle of writing another film, like a more dramatic, kind of much heavier subject matter, and as a way of sort of procrastinating and just kind of not working on that a little bit because it's a very sort of heavy, difficult subject. I just started typing out some kind of funny, cool dialogue. I thought we make a good comedy just to distract myself, really. And then over the course of a weekend, I pounded out about 45 pages or so of an outline of this film. And I went to Josh and I said, I know we're in the middle of writing this big film we want to make, but this thing that we're doing already is going to be so expensive. And I feel like as a first film, why don't we look at this? Because we looked at other directors like Tarantino, like Reservoir Dogs, or look at something like 12 Angry Men, or like Breakfast Club, and you can make a movie in like one or two locations for way less money than what we're going to do on this other project, and it kind of just stemmed from there.
Yeah, I looked at it and I looked at the original script and I said, this is going to cost us way too much money. So, and then Chris came up with this and we said, yeah, this is the way to go for the first film. 2 locations, people in rooms, talking, making jokes. We just kind of went from there and kind of came up with a concept and hammered it out.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so when you wrote this film, like, one thing I noticed even about halfway through, I was like, these guys have dug themselves in such a big hole. How are they ever getting out? Did you guys have an out already planned in your head, or because it's
actually
pretty like when I was watching, I was like, this is so intense. Like, what's gonna happen next?
Actually, in the first sort of thing that we kind of like the first draft outline, that ending that was there from the beginning.
The twist was there. The twist is always there.
The twist is there, yeah. Like, not to give it away too much, but
right. There's a twist.
Basically, the villain gets trading places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And let's talk about the characters, because the characters make the movie. And
Sure.
I think when you're gonna do a comedy like that, especially things like an office comedy or a workplace comedy, you see it on television shows, or the really memorable shows or movies have really memorable characters. Like, they're very polar opposites of each other. There's always like the uptight one. And in this one you have, everybody from the tech guy running the thing who's in love with cats to the villain. Like, Conley is such a great villain. Where did you guys, like, when you cast them, did you go through great lengths to cast them, or were they like people you knew already? Or?
I think that the important thing is we wrote the characters specifically because of that. You have to have the dynamics of the characters. You've got to have my character, who's the straight guy, right? And then you've got to have the mayhem happening around him. The girlfriend, the incompetent idiot, the villain,
right?
And then the tech guy. And then in the focus group, we just wanted a broad spectrum of sort of people. So everyone that we cast was, so Rebecca Davis, who plays my girlfriend, she was a friend of mine. I'd worked with her, and I'd seen some of her work, and I was a big fan. Toby Hargrave, who plays our tech guy. He's a great friend of mine. He's a stand-up comic and an actor, and he's a hell of a funny guy. And I knew he would be perfect. He'd be like our Seth Rogen kind of character, you know. And then obviously we cast ourselves already, so that was easy. And then it was only really Conley that we knew our villain had to be really good. Otherwise, the story, the momentum wouldn't be the same. So we read a couple of people for the role, and it just wasn't right. And then our director of photography, Will Minsky, he said, dude, the guy you got to go is this Ryan Beal. And I was like, I hadn't met Ryan at this time. we looked up his IMDb, we watched some of the stuff he had shot, and right away we're like,
I was like,
this is the guy.
That's comedy.
This is the
Like,
guy.
And,
So
and after that,
we just reached out to his agent
Yeah.
and said, we made him a straight offer, we didn't even audition him, we said,
Yeah.
this is the guy we want. And it was come down to the wire, because he was down watching baseball in Arizona, he's a big Cubs fan. So, which almost made us not hire him, but, And, then it worked out, and he came to set, and he had done his work, and he knew kind of what we wanted. We did a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And the very first rehearsal,
That was great.
you could just tell he knew the character.
I mean, even just like from watching, because he'd done a bunch of commercials in Canada, and he's a very well-known improviser as well. I think his improv troupe, Sunday Service, they've won like best improv troupe in Canada.
Yeah.
And just as soon as we saw some of that stuff, it was like, that's gotta be our guy. Because, and at that point, even it was tough to even get a hold of him because he was down in Arizona. And we're like, we can't get anybody else. We gotta make this work.
Yeah. It worked out perfectly, and as you can see if you watch the film,
he's great.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole cast works really well together. And like I said, it's the way that they're written, which is really great job to you guys because they're written so well and they play off each other, and it's like there's not a weak scene where I'm like, I wish this would kind of want to go back and see the idiot, or I want to go back and see this guy. It's like every scene it carries the film forward, and that's a good job. So
thanks, man. Yeah, but you gotta have that pace, right? And we were inspired. We've talked about this by sort of 80s sort of comedies, John Hughes style stuff, and Secret of My Success, and Working Girl, and Office Space, Trading Places. These movies have been made before. We just wanted to make our version of what it would look like to have that movie made.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Rob, so being the executive producer there, how'd you get involved with all this?
Well, I've known Chris for about 10 years, and I've probably known Josh 5 or 6. They work together, and they've been talking, I think, loosely for a couple of years about making a film, and then Chris was heading off to Ryerson, which is a fine arts university in Toronto, and we were all sending him off at the Vancouver airport, just drinking way too much beer. And they were sort of talking about this idea of making a film, maybe making a production company, and I said, well, you guys generate a script that I like, I'll pay for your movie.
You didn't say that you had to like it. That wasn't part of the deal, correct?
Well, luckily I did.
Script.
Luckily I did.
You guys write a script, I'll write a check. So we came to him with a script a little while later, and he was a man of his word. He stepped up to the plate and was one of the first people to invest in the film, and he invested a significant portion of the funds. And it's important as indie filmmakers. I'm sure you guys know this. A lot of the filmmakers have that you have people that have got your back, and he just said, I trust you guys 100%. Make the film you want to make. I believe in you. And that's real nice to have because, there's not a lot of that. So
Don't make it suck.
And what's the response been like so far on this film?
It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually only our second film festival.
Really? I was going to ask you if there's been anywhere else.
Yeah, but it's been like everyone that sees it, especially when you see it in the theater.
Yeah.
You're kind of like surrounded by people. It's just like it's just a good movie to watch in a crowd. People really respond to it.
Responded super well.
Yeah.
Texas really likes Focus.
Yeah.
And well, we submitted to a lot of the big film festivals, like I think a lot of filmmakers do, TIFF and Sundance and all that. But we didn't get in any of those ones because it's not a weird movie. It's just a straight up, just a good comedy.
Yeah.
And we don't have Brad Pitt in it, so
Right.
That.
But you do have the Smoky Man. So
Right, we do have cigarettes.
That is crazy.
Right.
Not as much cachet as we thought.
So we just now we're going to start submitting to more festivals. We've got a distribution strategy in place, and we're going to, over the next little while, open it up into more festivals and let other people see it. We're grateful for Anthony for starting the ball rolling. So listen, guys, we like your film, and he's been a big supporter. He's a big fan. So Anthony Pedoni, Victoria, Texas Independent Film Festival, and RX Self-Medicated. If you're an independent filmmaker, submit. These guys roll.
And this festival has just been great. It's the second day, but this has been like what you guys are doing with this festival is just amazing.
It's cool.
It's like the way everybody's been treated, just what you guys put together for all the screenings, and just this has been a great festival.
The community support is really impressive as well.
It's a big thing that they're really trying to push. And bringing films to Texas is something that we really believe in, and we think that it's a good way to bring commerce and tourism to this town anyway. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, just to have a city that's so supportive of everything is great.
Makes a difference.
I was gonna ask you guys, what's in the future? Like, what's the next step for you guys, film-wise or project-wise?
For this, well, we're in the process of finalizing distribution for this
Okay,
film,
cool.
and making sure that a lot more people get to see it because we believe in the film. So that's going to happen. We'll have a theatrical release in Canada in the fall, and then hopefully it'll be on iTunes, VOD, Netflix shortly thereafter. And then we have another film.
Yeah, the film that we stopped writing
Right.
and working on to do this is still kind of our baby
Right.
that we really want to do. Now that we've learned so much from shooting this film and from producing it and marketing it, we've learned so much, and just from how to make a damn film, that we are so much more capable and confident about how to just attack the next one, even though the next one's much bigger. It's a much bigger scale film, but we're gonna head first into that. It's the next big thing, absolutely.
Yeah.
And over the summer, Chris and I are going to be developing a series of medical education videos for a medical foundation back in Vancouver called the Pacific Bipolar Foundation. They're interested in functional brain imaging in bipolar disorders, and I'm a medical professor at University of British Columbia,
Okay.
and I work in functional brain imaging. So that was a kind of a bizarre but nice connection.
Excellent. Cool. So the film is Focus. Is there a place where people can keep up with you guys and your updates, like a Facebook page? Or?
Yeah, good call, man. We are individually available. I'm at Josh Blacker.
I'm at Chris Not Young, even though I am Chris Young.
Yeah. And we
Chris Young
have,
wasn't available.
We have at VLY Films on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, Viewers Like You Productions, and FocusMovie.net.
Yeah, and you can take it. FocusMovie.net is really the main thing because you can links to our Twitter and our Facebook.
Right.
That's got the trailer, cast bios, behind the scenes footage, stuff about the
Excellent.
company. That's the big one.
First news updates.
Easter
right
eggs, nude photos.
Yeah, mostly
Sweet.
Or not, go
Mostly.
check it out. Find out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for
Thanks,
taking
man.
the time to
Thank
talk
you.
with us. And the movie's called Focus, and it is this weekend at the Victoria, Texas Independent Film Festival.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.